There are mornings when your mind wakes up before your body does. Your heart beats a little faster. Your breath feels a little shorter. Your thoughts begin racing toward the worst possibilities. Before the day has even started. You're not in danger. Nothing is collapsing. But your mind tells you something is wrong. This is what anxiety feels like. A storm with no thunder. A weight with no shape. A fear with no name. The Stoics faced the same inner storms thousands of years ago. And instead of being overwhelmed, they learned how to calm the mind from within. Imagine if you could crush anxiety not by avoiding life, but by mastering the way you meet it. In 2025, anxiety is not rare. It is the new normal. People feel pressure from every direction. Work asks for constant productivity. Relationships demand emotional energy. Social media makes you compare your life to thousands of others every day. News cycles keep your mind in a state of quiet alarm. And your phone pulls your attention in 100 directions the moment you wake up. This constant stimulation exhausts the mind. Your brain isn't meant to process this much information. This many opinions. This many expectations. This much emotional noise. So what happens? You overthink small things. You fear the future without reason. You replay conversations that didn't matter. You doubt yourself more often. You feel tired even after sleeping. You breathe, but it never feels deep enough. Men feel lost about what strength means today. Women feel overwhelmed by emotional responsibilities. Teenagers feel anxious long before they understand what anxiety is. This world doesn't slow down for you. It doesn't give you space to breathe. It doesn't stop just because you feel overwhelmed. And that's why Stoicism is so powerful. Because it teaches you how to create peace from the inside, even when the outside world refuses to calm down. Stoicism doesn't remove anxiety. It teaches you how to rise above it. The Stoics understood anxiety long before our modern world gave it a name. They lived through wars, pandemics, political chaos, betrayal, and constant uncertainty. Yet they developed a mindset that protected their inner peace no matter what happened outside. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor carrying the weight of an entire empire, wrote to himself every night so he could keep his mind steady. He reminded himself that fear grows when we let our thoughts run uncontrolled. But peace grows when we guide our thoughts with intention. Seneca said that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. When you feel overwhelmed today, it is often not the situation itself. It is the story your mind creates around it. What if it goes wrong? What if I'm not good enough? What if this never gets better? Epictetus taught that anxiety often comes from trying to control things we were never meant to control. Other people's opinions, the future, random events, unpredictable outcomes. A Stoic focuses only on what is within immediate influence. The present moment, the next action, the meaning they choose. Here is the core Stoic principle for crushing anxiety. The inner anchor rule. You cannot calm the world, but you can anchor your mind. Think of a ship in a storm. The waves are wild. The wind is loud. But the ship does not escape the storm. It stays steady because of its anchor. Your mind works the same way. When the world shakes, you don't run. You anchor. Zeno believed that the mind becomes stronger every time you choose perspective over panic. It is training, not talent. One calm thought at a time. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are troubled by anything, it is not the thing itself but your judgment about it." In simple words, your suffering is shaped by the meaning you give to events. Stoicism isn't about pretending life is easy. It's about understanding that calmness is a skill, and every anxious moment is an opportunity to practice it. The Stoics survived their storms not because they were fearless, but because they mastered the art of hearing fear and choosing clarity instead. There was a man named Jonah who appeared calm to everyone around him. But inside, his mind was a constant storm. He worried about things he couldn't control. He doubted himself in moments he should have felt confident. He replayed conversations long after they ended. His thoughts raced so fast that even silence felt loud. At work, Jonah's anxiety grew slowly and quietly. Every email felt urgent. Every meeting felt like a test. Every mistake felt like a disaster waiting to happen. He hid it well, but he carried the weight alone. One evening, after a long and stressful day, Jonah sat in his car unable to drive home. He wasn't in danger. He wasn't hurt, but his mind felt too crowded to move. He remembered a small Stoic book his friend once gave him but he never opened. Letters from a Stoic by Seneca. Feeling desperate, he took it out of his bag and began reading random lines. One sentence pulled him in. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Jonah felt something shift inside him. For the first time, he realized that most of his suffering wasn't happening in his life. It was happening in his mind. The next morning, his anxiety returned, as it always did. But Jonah did something different. When a fearful thought appeared, he asked himself, is this real, or is this imagination taking over? Half of his anxiety faded instantly. Later that week, he made a mistake at work. Normally, this would send him spiraling. But he paused. He breathed. He told himself, I control my response, not the outcome. For the first time, he felt like he was steering his mind instead of being dragged by it. Jonah began applying Stoic ideas daily. He focused on what he could control, his actions, his effort, his mindset. He observed his anxious thoughts like someone watching clouds drift by. Temporary, moving, harmless. Slowly, he began changing. He didn't stop feeling anxiety, but the anxiety stopped controlling him. One night, Jonah stood by his window after a long day, and for the first time in years, he felt something he once thought he lost. Quiet inside himself. He realized his Stoic turning point was not a heroic moment, but a small decision repeated every day. To anchor his mind, instead of letting the storm pull him away. Jonah didn't crush anxiety by fighting it. He crushed it by understanding it, and choosing clarity each time fear tried to take over. This is the modern Stoic path. You don't eliminate the storm. You become steady within it. Stoicism gives us practical tools that weaken anxiety and strengthen inner calm. These tools don't require perfection, they require awareness. Each one brings your mind back to clarity. Here are 5 Stoic techniques you can use today. 1. The circle of control rule. Anxiety grows when the mind tries to control things outside its reach. Stoicism reduces anxiety by focusing only on what's within your power. Example: you fear someone's opinion of you. Stoic approach: I control my actions and honesty. Their judgment is theirs. Instantly, the emotional weight drops. 2. The pause before emotion rule. Anxiety pushes you to react instantly. To fear, to doubt, to rushing thoughts. Stoics create a small space before responding. A pause is a reset. Example: you receive a stressful message. Instead of answering with panic, you breathe and say, I'll respond when I'm steady. That pause breaks the anxiety cycle. 3. The separation of fact and story rule. Most anxiety is imagination disguised as truth. Stoics separate reality from fear. Example: fact, someone hasn't replied yet. Story, they must be upset with me. Stoic shift: the fact is silence, the rest is my mind creating a story. Calm returns. 4. The present moment anchor rule. Anxiety lives in the future. Peace lives in the present. Stoics bring attention back to the moment. Example: instead of, how will I handle the whole week? Ask, what can I do right now? This turns overwhelm into direction. 5. The negative visualization rule. Stoics imagine the realistic worst-case scenario to make it less frightening. Once the fear is named, it loses power. Example: You fear failing at a task. You ask, what actually happens if I fail? You realize the world won't collapse. You learn. You adjust. You continue. The fear shrinks. These techniques don't remove anxiety completely. Nothing can, but they make anxiety manageable, smaller, and less able to control your life. A Stoic doesn't become calm because life is easy. A Stoic becomes calm because the mind is trained. And that is how you crush anxiety. Not by fighting it, but by understanding how to guide your thoughts through it. Let me ask you something. How many times has your mind made you relive a fear that never actually happened? You carry worries from the past, fears about the future, and pressure from the present. All at once, it's no surprise your chest feels heavy. It's no surprise your thoughts feel loud. You've been trying to live in 3 different timelines at the same time. Think of your mind like a small boat on a wide ocean. When the waves rise, the boat shakes. It feels unstable. It feels unsafe. It feels like one strong wave might flip everything. But the truth is, the waves are not the problem. The real problem is that you've forgotten to lower your anchor. Your anchor is your breath, your awareness, your ability to pause, your power to choose the next thought. You are not fragile. You are simply overwhelmed. And overwhelm is not a weakness. It's a sign that you've been strong for too long without resting. You deserve to breathe again. You deserve a calm mind. And you are capable of finding it. Step by step, thought by thought. In the end, the Stoics remind us of a powerful truth. Anxiety is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that your mind is asking for guidance. The world will always move fast. Life will always bring uncertainty. People will always have expectations. But you don't have to carry the weight of everything. You don't have to fear thoughts that have no proof. You don't have to let your mind be pulled by every wave. The Stoic path is simple. Return to what you can control. Stay present in the moment in front of you. Choose the meaning you give to your experiences. Let your mind become an anchor instead of a sail. This is how you crush anxiety. Not with force, not with denial, but with clarity, awareness, and inner strength. And when the world feels overwhelming again, remember this. Carry this truth with you. Let it live in your thoughts. Let it steady your breath. And let it remind you that peace is not far. It is within you, waiting for your permission.